Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. What's going on, everybody? It has been a very long time since I have last been here to stream for you all, and I apologize for that. But I am back today, and yeah, ready to stream. So, just a little catch up. Since the last time I streamed, I believe it was shortly after I had released level 3 and I had begun working on level 4. And since then, the realm that I'm on has since changed from being one world, and now we're in another one. So here we are today in a brand new world. And yeah, today I think I'll give a little bit of a tour. Probably not going to accomplish a whole lot today. You will probably notice I am in creative mode. And while we started the new world and everything is basically survival, I've kind of gone back and forth with creative and survival a little bit just because I don't have a ton of time to do a whole lot of stuff. So honestly, I've had to kind of switch over to do some of the building in creative just because it was a little bit difficult to reach stuff and just acquire all the resources with the limited amount of time that I have had. As many of you know, got a little one. He's just over 20 months, and he actually just started daycare earlier this week. And so now Thursdays I actually have a day off, and I don't have my son because he's at daycare. So I get a little bit of time to stream, which I am excited for. And honestly, I'm looking forward to. I may not always be doing Minecraft, but I will be playing games, and I may not even do it every week just because I don't want to commit and be like, yeah, I'm going to go every week and then just not. So for now, here I am. We're going to kind of take a look at the world a little bit because there was a lot of work on this world done before we ever went live with it, and kind of see where we are with level 4 and just some of the plans for the future on that one. So I guess if anything, let's kind of go. So this is the world that we picked. It was kind of an interesting world that we chose. As I was like contemplating which one I wanted us to choose, I oftentimes was picking worlds that had giant spawn areas like this. So as you can kind of see, there's mountains pretty much all over the place. And so that was intentional. I wanted to try to make sure we had some form of mountain ring, and then we could have our spawn right in the center here. So that's, for the most part, that's what we picked. We went through like 8 different worlds that we could choose. We went down to a top 3, and from the top 3, we narrowed in on this one. One of the closer contenders was like a giant cherry grove, basically all around the outside of it. This one we wound up picking because it had more of the stony and jagged peaks. Not those are custom here, but basically a lot of this is natural terrain, and then there's a little bit of addition of other stuff in here as well. So that was kind of like our desire in picking. I think I totally just picked the wrong time. But that was our desire in like actually picking a world, was we kind of wanted a nice central area for spawn. And if I recall, I believe spawn was actually just outside of here, and I set it somewhere right down in the middle there. So not terribly far off from 0, 0. Then once we had the world picked out, I had Professor K, who really liked the cherry grove out of one of the worlds, and I was able to pick that up and plop it into this world using Amulet. And then we have Baldy Beardy over here, who had built Rivendell, and these mountains that you see here are all custom and he had built all of this. So basically that wall that looks kind of flat there is roughly about where that border was, came along here, wrapped around, and then went around the back. And then we had Livy's terrarium over there. So all that got plopped in right here, kind of like right up at the walls. So this Rivendell kind of took place of one of the walls. Over here, so this is some of the actual like natural terrain right about here. And then I pushed a hole through here, and you can kind of see this is where it went. And then that's kind of where some of the stuff came in that's custom. And then a lot of this is like basically all of this was custom built in the previous world and then plopped immediately behind here. And then this kind of goes up and continues into a ring all the way around here. And then over here, we had one of our other realm members. Basically, they had built this in our previous season, and so we went ahead and just grabbed that and plopped it there into the background. I probably spent a good 40 hours worth of time inside of Amulet working to drop all of this in and edit it and make sure that it worked. Some of the issues I faced with Amulet was like if there was a chunk border right here and I tried to plop it right here, up to like 6 chunks into this opposite direction would then be unloaded and be giant gaps to the void. So I had to do a lot of work to come through here, and I had like grid lines up in the sky to load a chunk where I had to like at least have one block in a chunk in order for it to force load. So I had just giant grids that I think it roughly was for the entire area, probably from the furthest point back there to the furthest point behind Rivendell was like 1,000 by 1,000 in order to actually get half of this stuff to work. Thankfully, a lot of that was done in survival prior to in some of the worlds. So as you can see, like with my mountain, it is unfinished, and so I had to hollow that out. For anybody who is familiar with the previous iteration of this mountain, you will recall that the player hall, basically right over here, this did not exist under the mountain. And so one of the things I did with Amulet was I went in and I was able to excavate this whole thing and then find a spot here inside of the mountain. So let's go ahead and go spectator so I can pop through the wall real quick. And so basically here at the base of the waterfall, I was able to just plop that right on in and put the player hall here rather than having it be about 500 blocks off to the side. And thankfully, in terms of space, it managed to fit quite nicely with level 3 here, which I had to dice up a number of times. You'll see things like those emerald blocks down there on the blackstone bricks. The emerald blocks here. We've got redstone blocks there. I think I started getting rid of some of those because those were basically markers. What I did was, like in this case, so the 2 segments of redstone blocks there and there, that was where a split was. And I basically used it to piece stuff together. And so like there's some over there for this giant pillar. But as you can see, like there's giant segments of the area that are just completely cut out. And that was one of the byproducts of not having everything fully chunk aligned. And honestly, I don't care. Like it may not look great, but this is an area behind a mountain and this is supposed to be under a mountain. So for the most part, this will all get covered and I really don't care how some of this will end up looking. This is probably the ugliest thing, but we do intend to put like a mountain kind of like that one that we have, plus the ones here up and over the area to kind of cover this up. But this is basically the back area of Baldy Beardy's Rivendell area. He had plenty of space that he wanted because of the mountains that were there, plus the mountains that he was able to do custom. And so we had quite a bit to bring in, and he's been hard at work doing that. So yeah, This was honestly a lot more work than it was worth. Like when you look at the finished product, you can just be like, wow, cool. Looks like you just plopped a bunch of stuff in here. But this was definitely a lot harder than it looked to get it into place. And so for the most part, what I did was after we started the world, I was able to basically just kind of start in survival. And I just kind of went for a little bit before I finally switched over to creative. Part of what I did in here, the original portal for getting to the starting part of the game is here. So I kind of had to move that in. I made this area under here into my little starter base. So basically on the other side of the wall here, where you would enter into the player hall, I was able to just kind of like make a little stairway up to the town up on the hill. And then I just kind of decided to plop myself in here, got myself a bed, made myself some crops, and had a really unorganized storage area. And then I went down into the mines down there and dug for a long time. And eventually I went ahead and started the whole process of an AFK fish farm, which is always so enthralling, and was able to get quite a few mending books, and I was able to use that for all my gear and stuff. So kind of like looking at that, I do just have some basic stuff. So like even though I'm in creative, I don't even have like the max enchants, and I don't really mind. But basically this is all of the stuff that I was able to make from having just done AFK fishing, which was really good. I had to make like a little storage area because the amount of fish and stuff that you would get is kind of off the charts. And this is honestly with me having thrown so much stuff away. So that was kind of where I took my start. For the most part, I kind of left a lot of this untouched. There are lights, but that was part of an effort to just get things lit. And then I just kind of moved up the hill up here. So like none of this pathway was here. I just kind of made a crude little segment to come up here. And then basically I've got my wife who took over this little house and has been sprucing the area up, no pun intended. And then we just kind of made like a little bit of pumpkins and melons. This is the wheat and carrots area. And over here we've got some potatoes. She made this little animal pen. Professor K had made the little fountain plus this house. And then my wife also made this little animal pen here as well. Yeah. And so I kind of like some of the stuff was already kind of here, like this building. I didn't like how it looked, so I'm kind of turning it into like a windmill area. I also did kind of start living out of here as well. Made a bunch of chests and stuff. Started keeping things. So like a lot of my valuables and whatnot are in here. I was able to go out and seek out some ancient debris. I think that's all of the leftover diamonds that I've got. I think I spent a lot of them, but like on gear and stuff. Yeah. Yep. Well, I think I'm dirt poor, but honestly, I'm fine with that. But yeah, so I was able to go off and get some stuff. Oh yeah. That's where I threw all of my extra stuff so I didn't lose it. But yeah, managed to get a little netherite, took down a couple withers. Haven't done the dragon fight because I know that there are some people who would like to do that on their own, or who would like to do that as a part of like the very first fight in the world. So we have yet to actually go off and do that just yet. But yeah, so I kind of lived in here as well as this little house in here. This is where my little bed is. Okay. I'm also not all that used to like playing this game as much anymore because I did take quite a bit of a break. And then in here, all of our crop stuff. But yeah, so I basically managed to get level 3 up and running again, which was good. That was somewhat difficult because I did lose quite a few of entities in the move over here. And I mean, honestly, while that's really not that bad, one of the issues that I did face was, some of the ambiance of this game was lost. So like I've got this minecart, I had to get that replaced. There are basically minecarts with stuff in them. Actually, the first one is right there. So all of these disappeared, and I had to make sure I went back and got them all again. So I managed to get the game running pretty quickly after everything was all said and done. So I'm happy about that, which I'm really grateful for. After we did this move, actually, so I'm kind of excited about this one. So here is the player hall. This is where anybody who is playing the game comes, and basically like you get your kit, anything that you need to play the game, you're going to come in here and you're going to have. And then actually, speaking of which, let's see. Gotta remember where mine is. I know I probably shouldn't. Actually, yeah, that was mine, but I'll take some adventure carrots. Okay. But yeah, so any player who's playing the game comes in here. This is where you get your gear. This is where you put your stuff on the board, signifying that you've played whatever levels there are. Of course, I fell. So like in the case here, this one is my board. I've played levels 1, 2, and 3. And then there's room for everything else. And then up here is just kind of telling you, hey, levels 1 through 3 are available. Level 4 is the only level, or is the next level, and is not quite yet ready to go. It is a long ways off. One of the reasons why I'm also playing in creative, because it took me, I think, 6 to 8 months to do level 3, and 99% of that was in survival. So I'd rather not build every single level and basically have 12 total levels and have this take me like 10 years to do. So kind of picking and choosing my battles here. But one of the things I was actually super proud of was this little segment of the player hall right above the player hall. So up here is kind of like a, go upstairs and this will take you to whatever level you're on. Mainly because some of these levels are going to be decently far away. One of them is going to be in the end, and I'm still trying to figure out whether I actually want to bus somebody all the way to the end portal, and then have to bus them from said end portal all the way to the actual level, because I have to take the level that's in the end, and I have to take it away from the central island. So one of the things is like, okay, well, do I want to make you go all the way out there? Well, I can make a section for you to basically hop into a minecart and get there relatively easily. So what I did was here, I've got level 3 because level 3 is actually done. Levels 1 and 2 are below. And this is right here, press to be taken to the Dwarven Mines. And if there's no minecart, you press that button. And then level 3 Dwarven Mines. So basically just a little bit of a theme. And then you press this, and this will take you right on off, which pretty bland, but honestly, I'm kind of happy with how this turned out. Because basically what it is just a giant water chute, takes you all the way up, kind of like a little fun jump right there. And if you've been watching Mr. Tango Tech at all, he has something similar where you hit this spot and like just on the other side of the wall there, which honestly I feel like, stupidly proud of myself for figuring it out. But basically you come in, you hit the activator rail, and depending on the direction you're heading and what direction stuff is pointed, it just takes you and kicks you right out. So this was honestly a lot of fun. And then I developed just the return line, which is pretty basic. It just takes you down that water chute and then sends it back down, and the minecart literally goes right back to where we got on it. So this section here is to basically circumvent the fact that you, the player, were all the way down underneath the mountain there. You have to come out, and so say you were walking, no elytra, no creative mode, no spectator, nothing. You'd have to walk across that bridge, up across this, birch pathway, follow this pathway along, go all the way down, go through the mountain, and it's going to wrap you all the way up to right where we came out. So what I was trying to do there was basically just make it so that the player can just quickly get here. And then we enter into the Dwarven Mines. And then this is where level 3 begins. So I was able to basically get all this hooked back up and get you off. Now, that was arguably one of the things that I had some of the most fun doing, because it just involved a lot of redstone testing. And because I don't know a lot about redstone, it was actually rather enjoyable for me to do. One of the other things that I did is here on the underside of the mountain, which I believe this was not ultimately going to be on the underside of this mountain. Before we made the move, I decided to cut off the second half of my mountain that I had custom built. It just didn't fit with the terrain. It didn't fit with anything, so I just cut that out. This area for level 4 was basically way off in the distance, kind of where that castle was for our other member. And I've moved it over to here. You can kind of see here, like the chunks that I was able to pull in, right where the hard lines are, is where this got cut out of the old world and brought into here. So I've done some planning on this level. This has honestly been kind of a tricky one, because this is not meant to be as trapped as level 3 is. Level 3 is very much a closed circuit kind of level. There's not a whole lot of open air in there, whereas this one is meant to be open air. The other one's pretty linear. This one's not meant to be linear at all. So what I've honestly managed to do is just get like a giant open space, and for as much as I don't want it to be linear, I did start adding some walls and stuff in here. And so you are, for the most part, going to kind of come in. Let's get back into creative mode at least. That way you guys can kind of see with the crosshairs. So you're going to come in over there, and then the player will ultimately come through here and then into this part of the level, and you're likely going to come through here and into this part of the level. So for the most part, it is semi-linear, but it's pretty open in how it's going to work. And some of what I've been working on here behind this is that you, the player, are likely going to come in through here. You're going to walk down and be met with a split path. So at this point, you should already be in the level. So the actual door to the level will be back there somewhere, and then you're going to be faced with decisions. Okay, do I want to go right or left? Well, if you want to go right, obviously there's nothing there. That will ultimately have a direction that it's going to go. And then here, you can split again, turns right or it turns left. If you then choose to go this way, boom, here you go. You're actually technically now in the larger section of the level. But if you decide to go left and you decide to come up here, this is actually then going to continue leading you further. Oh, that's right. I actually have another pathway that goes this way too. So this is going to lead you up, and you're going to come over here, and technically one of the temples is going to be right here. Because the way the level 4 is going to go is there are going to be 6 little temples that are like animal-based temples. So there'll be a statue of an animal or something on each one. So there's going to be one here, one there. There's going to be one there. There's going to be one back there, and I believe one there. I've kind of lost track of where I'm actually going to put them all. But there's going to be different animals, and each one's going to signify each animal. And basically, like, as a part of the lore of the game, these animals are going to go extinct. And, like, you know, in the case I do, like, a monkey, because I have, like, a thing I found on Pinterest, you know, because Pinterest is great. There's going to be, like, you know, a monkey one, but a monkey is not in Minecraft, so it has, quote unquote, gone extinct. And if we're not careful over time, if we don't fix stuff, then we're going to find more animals that actually go extinct. So this will lead you to the first temple, and basically what you want to do is you want to come out and come into the level. If I recall, I want to lead you up into an area where, like, you know, you can see over the level. So, like, 3 paths. One takes you to a temple that's necessary for the level, one takes you into it, and one just gives you a view. But then basically you, the player, will be down here, and you're going to be coming through. Boom. And now into an open area. So there's going to be another temple here, but, like, for the shell that I have, that may not be visible, and there may be other ones like that one that you may not be able to actually see. Oh yeah, and one of the things I was doing was I wanted to make different biomes, like custom biomes in here. Level 4 is going to have the nickname Satoral Marsh, which is a level out of Xenoblade Chronicles. And it's very much like a magical, like, lit up area. And so I kind of wanted to take some inspiration with that, because that's like a custom thing. It's not something you would normally see, you know, in the normal world. So what I want to do is take something on that. And this is going to be kind of a lush area. So this is going to be a heavily overgrown segment of the level. Over here, these are going to be some cliffs. And then I believe I went through and I, like, actually started labeling stuff. This one's going to be a crystal fountain that turns on at night, so it's going to be all lit up at night. Let's see. This is going to be a barren area, mainly because that crystal fountain is there. It is, other than these 4 circles that surround the crystal fountain, there's, like, these are going to be trees. This area is going to be pretty barren. The trees and the crystal basically take all the nutrients from the land. Coming over here, we have the overgrown or large area. So think of, like, one of the regular brown or red mushrooms, and then instead of it being, you know, like a 1 block wide base, we're looking at, like, you know, a 3x3 base. And so, like, 3 times as big and just kind of sticking up quite a bit more. Coming over here, I don't think I had anything extra specific. And then here I've got the cliffs. So this is the cliff area, kind of like what I was saying. And then over here is kind of like a swamp. I don't think I actually have. Oh yeah, there it is. I was going to say I didn't think I had a sign. So this is the fairy swamp. So this is basically going to be where little fairies are going to be. And those are going to be like lights and glass panes and stuff like that to make the fairy effect, or just make it look like it's a, you know, a fairy. But then, you know, we've got the water here, and I'm going to have some very interesting, like, flowers. So I'm going to try to utilize the big drip leaves and use the stems that go up. And then where the actual drip leaf is, you can't break it. So I have to, like, build around it, but then kind of make like a custom flower. And those are going to be sprouting up from here. And then a lot of this area here, these are going to be little, you know, wetland kind of things. So like how we have the water here, this is going to have water up to this area. There's going to be water there, 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 and there, and there, and in all of these. Basically, this is just kind of meant to be like a cliff set of waterfalls. So this one's going to be harder to describe, but I have the mental image for what I want this to look like, and it's just going to take me some time. But yeah, so this is currently the thought of level 4. All of these walls were done in creative. The initial walls were done in survival. All that was in survival. This here was definitely done in creative. That just took forever. But a lot of this land and flattening of it was done in survival. So even though like I feel like I'm cheating going into creative, some of this stuff was still done and is still done by hand. I don't use any kind of like world edit other than Amulet to have just plopped this section in. So that's kind of the current direction of level 4. Excuse me. I was already trying to say level 5 because that is up here. And this one's pretty much going to stay. I've been kind of playing with the idea of level 5 and where to put it, but I think I'm going to leave it in this area over here. And this one is basically supposed to have the player who was going up in those mountains continue to here, which will pull you up here, going in there, pulls you up here, and then you've entered the wizard's tower, which I think I have under construction. So this is basically my start on level 5. This I had done in the previous season and just kind of have not come back to it. And then this is all of the area that's been segregated for it. So a lot of this basically came with the inspiration for one of the library levels in Vault Hunters. I don't know if that level even exists anymore, but I have like 100 screenshots of that level and I want to emulate that level as best as possible. Okay, so real quick, what I'm going to do, I'm going to pop out of this realm and I'm going to go into my creative test world. Yeah, I believe it should be this one. Okay, so one of the things that I've been doing in my off time, because I haven't been actually playing on the realm. That was arguably the most amount of time I've spent on the realm in quite a while. Some of what I've been doing is gathering ideas and gathering builds from Hermitcraft seasons or Empire seasons, or just finding worlds that people have uploaded onto like Planet Minecraft and taken that and put it here into this world. So this is my creative test world, which has quite a bit of stuff in it, as you can see. So my world literally started with this area here with my horrible attempt at, this was supposed to be like a concrete converter, which, as you can tell, did not go very well. So basically I started with all my redstone contraptions, and then it kind of came into like decoration stuff over here. And then this is where I started planning level 1 for the game. As you can see, it's a much smaller area, but this is basically where I plan all my stuff. So now this is where I'm bringing things, and then as you can see, I kind of got a little bit better some of my redstone, though I really don't want to talk about some of what I've done here because this was supposed to be redstone for level 4, where like a door up top was supposed to be opened, but only at specific points and stuff like that. So I got a little confused on the redstone and just decided to say forget it. And then I brought over one of my tree farms because that tree farm takes forever to build. Okay, so what I've done is brought over some stuff, but like as you can see, so here's my player hall. This was basically taken and then diced up, and then as you can see, quite a few things from level 3 and whatnot all over here. But yeah, so what I did was I was trying to find some things that were giving me some inspiration to use for the game. One of the things was the cursed portal. This is a cursed portal from Hermitcraft 7. Yeah, I believe this one was from 7. So this was a Good Times with Scar build. He had his mines not too terribly far from here. His magical village had that blue crystal there. This green one was from their creeper farm, the one that Scar and Grian did. I think I technically took some of the redstone too. Yeah, the clock is still down here, which I think I either turned off or just messed with. So some of this is meant for level 4 of these 3 spots right here. So like a cursed area and then a couple different crystals. I'm debating whether I want this blue crystal or this green crystal to be in the center of where those trees were going to be inside of level 4. Other people built some other really cool things. And then I'm also contemplating just porting this section over here because this is a lot of really good custom crystal work and I really like what this person did. This is a Planet Minecraft build that I picked up, or a download that I grabbed. Let's see. There you go. AbsoluteGrace.mc on Twitter as Absolute Grace. So that's the person who built this, and I snipped this out of the free download that they had. So this was honestly really cool to me. I like the idea of this, and I'm thinking that I'm going to cap level 4 with this, because level 4 is meant to be underneath the mountain with those trees that are going to be on the underside, reaching up to hold up the underside of the mountain up above. And then this should be sitting up on top of it with a crystal like in the center or something. And then maybe the cursed portal thing like up here in the top, because like the Ender Dragon is supposed to have come out of there based upon the lore that I've been putting together. So that is set to go towards level 4. Same with some of these crystals here. And then some of the other stuff that I picked up, like that's an end hub of some kind. I just thought it was nice and was like, I should bring that over. This is Grian's Dragon from Hermitcraft 6 during the build off. So him, Mumbo, Scar, and Iskel were doing a build off, and this lived up on one of the houses. And so I really like the idea of this build, and I really want something a little bit bigger than this for what's ultimately going to be the final boss of the game that I'm making. Okay, looking over here, we've got this kind of like multicolored tree. I really like, oh gosh, I'm sorry, that's probably nauseating. I really like this tree. I think it's really well done. I just don't know if I have a spot for it. I was thinking of putting this in a level, but I just don't think that I'm going to be able to plop it in based upon the designs that I want to do. And then made by the same people, this is another area that it's actually kind of cool. They made a maze, which was all the way back over there. So let's see. Let's go into creative. Yeah, so back to the maze. Oh, that button's actually still down. Okay. There we go. Well, that teleported me up here instead. Okay, so it's got a teleport function, but basically this is an RTX build, I guess. Like, I don't know. It's really hard to like explain this one, but this is a maze. This is supposed to be a game. And so like for as much as I want this to be a really cool maze, each one of these hallways does not link back up with the other one. Like none of these actually come back together. And so one of my levels is going to be a maze, and I'm thinking maybe what I could do is send somebody off in 4 different directions, make them come back here, and with the 4 they can drop in and maybe just say 4 is plenty for the relics to get your artifact and get the heck out of there. But that's honestly, I think that's like level 7. Yeah, I think that's level 7, maybe 8. But yeah, so that all came from over there. Originally, I think that teleported you right back to the center of that. And then some of the other stuff, let's see. Okay. This one here, I think this was also kind of like an interesting portal. design. So like another crystal. This is something I was thinking of putting into level 4. I honestly have more ideas for level 4 than I have for any other level. And it's all because it's a nature-based level and there's so many possibilities. And I was potentially thinking I could use this. This is like a king's, like you can kind of see the king's heads. This is like a king's portal. So there's a nether portal as well as an end portal here. And so what I can do is I can go ahead and plop something like this down. And for those trying to get to level 12, this is where you would go. Like, you know, I'd make somebody like go like upstairs into that player hall, like direction room or whatever, the directory, I guess, and then have them just like, this will be at the end of it, and then they just plop right on in, and off they go to their level. So I honestly thought this was a really genius build. I love it. Another one that's definitely not mine. And so I definitely snipped it and brought it over. Okay, let's see. And then, yeah, I'm really excited to actually use this. Like, this is going to be great. I'm excited for that one. And then I think this is just another hub. I do have another level, so I'm thinking of using this one. This is kind of nauseating to look at, but there are a lot of candles and stuff. What is happening? Oh, it's loading stuff in the background. But yeah, lots of candles, lots of really cool stuff. And honestly, I'm thinking I may use this as a central area for my nether level, which is going to be level 6. Baldy Beardy, what's going on? Welcome in. Happy to have you here. Sorry, it's been a hot minute since I've streamed. Currently just kind of exploring, wandered around the new world for a little bit, and now we're checking out some of the stuff that I've managed to bring over into my creative world. One of the other things I really thought was cool to use is, and honestly, I may just use this for study rather than taking this and dropping this anywhere, but this is from Good Times with Scar and Hermitcraft Season 6. So this is right outside of Sahara. You can see the Hermit Rail network that goes right on up, but I just really liked how this mountain looked, and honestly, I just need to learn. Yeah, I just need to learn how to use some of this stuff. So I'm really excited to kind of learn from the techniques that Scar used. And no worries, you're late, Baldy Beardy. Just happy to have you here. Honestly, this is just kind of me figuring out how to stream again and sort my ideas. Because honestly, I've got a lot of stuff in my head and I need it out. Here's something I did consider a little bit for level 5, because this is kind of like an interesting area. I believe this is like a PvP arena that I found, and I just thought it was really cool. Some of the stuff is just trying to then fit this like somewhere either in the mountain, on it, or around it. It just is out of place, so I don't think this is going to end up being something I can use, but I do kind of like it, and it is empty. So I couldn't just pick it up and say, yeah, I'm going to use this if it's utterly empty. All right. So yeah, this is honestly a really cool thing. I like the build. I just thought this was cool and probably just going to end up looking at it a lot. This is another thing that I'm just kind of looking at. Like, I just thought this was really cool. I don't really have a spot for this, but this is another like PvP kind of like special map kind of thing that I found. I thought this was really fun. So Baldy Beardy, I have not actually yet done the path on stream from the Dwarven Keep to Rivendell. So I will do that, actually. That'll be one of the next things I do. And yeah, some of these builds are insane. Like, honestly, like these are really cool. And there's no way I could even come close to some of this. Now, if you want to see some insane, like custom terraforming, this is Good Times with Scars Season 6 Volcano. So, don't mind some of the ugly water that you see. This was me trying to remove water And this saw has kelp in it. So, and no, I have not shown the purple ball just yet. So basically I just kind of, like, you made it in not that long after I started some of this. But yeah, so this is a bit of a volcano area, kind of like deserted island. I really love some of this, and I've been wondering how to implement this. I just don't know how to do it yet. So let's see. Like, honestly, this is just really good. I love some of this stuff. Scar has some of the best building techniques, and I want to learn from what he does. And if anything, I was like, man, I could at least take that volcano and put it somewhere. But I just thought this was absolutely fantastic. All right. Now, so one of my levels is a nether-based level. This was arguably one of my favorite finds. It is going to be so difficult to use. But this is another castle I managed to find. And I desperately want to make this a part of the nether level. So this would be level 6. I don't know if the person or the people who built this put their information in here. They did not. That's a bummer because I was actually like really excited for that. So honestly, most of this is hollow, but it's still really cool. So like you can pop in. It's made out of lodestones, and I kind of don't like that, but the design is great. So I guess who am I to complain? Let's see here. Well, that's not going to last very long, but that's fine. So here is the inside of the nether castle. It's pretty cool. I like how it looks. Like, honestly, I think this is really fun. I'm going to have to take a lot of this stuff out or just like redecorate some of it because it just kind of isn't going to fit what I'm after, because there's going to be like a necromancer that lives there. And so some of the stuff just doesn't quite fit. Okay, up we go. Like the library kind of stuff, that's great. Like all the books, like this is perfect. But some of the other stuff, not as much. So this is one of the ones that I'm like super excited to use. And I'm going to have to remember, losing my effect. I'm going to have to remember to go back and find that person and give them credit for it. But it does come with a lot of custom terrain, which I love. So, and then as we can see around here, a nice ring. This was definitely built in Java and not in Bedrock, because this ring actually was going through the bedrock. And so everything that you see from about this point right about here was above the nether ceiling. So definitely not something that we can do. Oh yeah, never mind, there it is. There's another ceiling. So right about here is where it was. All right, so Baldy Beardy was asking about the purple ball. Here's the purple ball. This was this was an end-based hub that somebody had made. Now, I'm not going to lie. All the black concrete in there used to be end portals, or at least like end gateways. So it was all that space looking stuff. And I could only imagine if I had just like copied and pasted this in and then anybody on a console tried to play it, it would not have gone very well for you guys. But yes, I also agree that ring up there is insanely cool and I love it. So this is going to be kind of like an end hub. I am still trying to figure out exactly how I want to utilize this one, but they had some maps here, and then that dropped you all the way down into an end portal, which was rather interesting. So there's not a whole lot extra actually here, like just kind of empty, but nonetheless, I thought this was at least cool enough to grab. And then arguably one of my favorite things, the 12th level is going to be an end based level. So not only do you have to like get to the end, but then you have to get to the level. And that's one of the things that I'm like trying to figure out how best to do. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to put a giant water ring down at the bottom that encompasses the entire level. So in case a player falls, they don't either fall and go kersplat on the ground or fall through the void. So I'm going to have to figure that out. But this end city is semi close to what I'm wanting to do because I want to do a custom end city. Like a regular one isn't really enough for what I want. While it's fantastic, this is even better. And this is pretty empty too. Like inside of all of this, it's mostly empty, which gives me a lot of creative room to do stuff. Though I'm not gonna lie, like some of this is pretty cool. I think you can parkour up this, but ultimately to make people have to do parkour in order to get anywhere inside of a level is not ideal for me, because I want people to actually be able to complete it, and not everybody's great at parkour. Looking over here at the central tower, this oh, I love this so much. Like this is so good. These guys did a fantastic job on this. And then like I don't need anybody dying through that, but like it's a little bit of like an aura of sorts, like an aura path. It takes you all the way up. This one is definitely one of my favorite builds. So this I'm excited to see people do. And then I'm thinking ultimately like this ship could be part of where the final battle of the game is going to be. I'm pretty sure that the people who built this, they had to have used World Edit. Like there's just no way. Like I know people have skills, but that's just an unreal set of skills. Okay. Let's see. So one of the other things that I haven't really shown yet, and it's been off there on the left side of my screen, has been what's going to be level 11. So Baldy Beardy, I don't know if you saw, but here's some of the inspiration for the maze level. This is going to be kind of difficult to put together, but like, and to figure out, but this is something that I'm going to do for you guys. And yes, that ship is pretty intense and I love it. Let's see, what else have I snagged? Okay. All right. Oh yeah, so Baldy Beardy, I don't know if you saw, but I've got the cursed portal here as well as 2 crystals. These are likely going to end up in level 4. It's a matter of picking and choosing what's going to go where. So this is all from Good Times with Scars season 7 build. And then over here, I also don't know if you saw this. This is really fun. So somebody did kind of like what I was planning on doing above level 4, but they've already put something together. So this is likely going to end up getting copied and pasted right up on top. So be ready for that one. And then one of the things that has basically inspired my idea for level 11 has been Smallish Beans build from Empires season 2. And that would be his Stratos base kind of thing. And the funniest thing is this is the section in the air. He had a whole segment of his base below too. But the idea that I had for level 11 was to be, you know, this quote unquote like heaven or sky based level. This so closely depicts what I want that this very well may end up just being a copy and paste. Like the course of the game is going to be working your way from, you know, the depths, like from the nether to like the deep dark, you know, through a maze, through this giant ice cave and up into like the ocean, and then from there you're going up here to the sky, and from the sky you're going to the end, which the end is like, you know, a depiction of space. So this is like that step to get you there. And I love how he did this build. Like, Joel is fantastic at what he does. Like, he's got his little like pillar or altar to the gold because he loved gold. This dude, the amount of gold and quartz that he actually used, because all of this is a survival build. I watched him build it through Empire Season 2. Like, the amount of gold and quartz and warped wood and prismarine that this dude had to do, and copper obviously, was off the charts. Like, he did so many trades, it's unreal. But like, just looking at the design, it's amazing. And I'm going to have to like connect these little segments, because you do drop right through that with like some glass, especially now that we have the glass that's completely transparent. I'm just going to put that there so people can walk over it, not fall to their deaths. But he has like, you know, little houses and stuff in here. He's got little cubbies. Like, here, let's just go into creative so it's a little bit easier to maneuver. But like, he just so expertly put this stuff together. Like, here's a little bedroom and stuff, so like I can make a player come up here and be like, oh, something's in this barrel, or, you know, like, there's just so many different things that I never really considered doing or have the skill to actually do. So honestly, I love what he did here. And then one of the things he did was he brought you to a central fountain here with, that's his enchanting area. You know, he's got a portal over there, an actual functional portal. And then it just goes up. Like, this is just such a magnificent build. I'm sorry, I have like a hard time actually like really stating how much I love this. And like, even some of what he did, like, he actually lived with this. Like, he'd come up here and then he would actually have to parkour his way or platform his way up here to go through that portal. So this basically may just be a copy paste for level 11, and then I will just figure out the redstone, how to get things. But ultimately the goal will be to come all the way through here into the back, into his thunder god temple, because he basically was Zeus during that whole season. It was fantastic and I loved it. But then I gotta get you, the player, all the way up, and you'll likely have to end up in here. Sorry, some of this stuff is just so funny to like look at. And so I gotta find a way to get the player all the way up, like to here, and then, you know, grab your artifact and your artifact or whatever. Like, I have to figure out the last little like detail pieces, but then once you've got it, then you're off to the end. You know, so this one may have to be opened after I've finished the end level. But yeah, so this is basically some of the ideas, some of the things that I've been playing with in terms of like inspiration. I've had to do what I could to make it work and like get the ideas to actually make something that's going to be fun for my friends to end up actually playing. Excuse me. And it's kind of tricky trying to figure all that out. Like, how much do I put into it and how much do I copy and paste? And, you know, like, honestly, it's been a lot of fun trying to grab all this stuff, but at the same time, it's an absolute pain in the butt trying to find stuff too. So, okay, I'm going to hop out now of that creative world and hop back into the realm. Okay. Well, maybe I shouldn't have said okay. Apparently we're still waiting. All right. And we are back. Right, so let's see here. from the Dwarven Keep entrance to Rivendell. Okay. So, one of the cool things about still getting to build on a realm and do a lot of collaborations is the fun stuff we get to do as friends. So this is, as I was saying earlier, this is basically the way to get to the Dwarven Mines entrance if you are just doing a basic walk. You know, if you're not going to utilize the special path that I had created, or like the shortcut that I made, you know, you can go that way to the Dwarven Mines, or we can go this way to Rivendell. And honestly, I love this. Like, I caught sight of this when I was exploring it recently, and I thought it was amazing. Like, I love the design of this, and this is fantastic because, like, one of the things that I did have to consider early on was, like, what if people walk and they don't fly? Well, this right here is going to capture every last amazing essence of the builds and really keep like the imagination captured here. Plus you still get a fantastic view of everything. Not to mention you get great views of Rivendell. Baldy Beardy, I think you did a really good job on this. I was able to fly around it a little bit and then ultimately came and walked it. I think I did that like 3-4 days ago. Something like that. I love this little bit coming right through here. Like this is awesome. And also I just want to apologize now because I totally have a resource pack on my end changing the colors of the trees. So this isn't on the realm, this is literally just for me. And I can tell this was a lot of work. That was fantastic. And for anybody else, we are now at Rivendell. Okay, you know what? I did not walk this part. Dude, nice bridge. I'm digging that. Alright, let's see. Alright, Baldy Beardy, should I go that way towards the shulker boxes, or should I go more towards the inside of Rivendell? I know that was it for the custom path, sure, but I still think that this should be admired. Let's see. Okay. Now, I guess the question is, can I get downstairs without going through that portal? Pretty sure I can. Baldy Beardy, I do not spend nearly enough time here. I need to spend more time here, because I clearly don't know my way around. Let's see, the main entrance with the armor stands. Back out the front entrance and to the right. Okay, back out the main entrance. And you said to the right. Is it down? Or is it back around that way? Oh. Alright. Alright. Got it. I was following the wrong path. Uh-oh. I think I may have followed the wrong path again. Let's see. Do I need to drop down? Or I can go through the dining hall. Okay. And down the stairwell. Dude, I love this. I'm sorry. Like, this is great. Like, I love doing stuff like this. Well, that didn't work out. Aha! Totally snuck in. This is definitely not where I'm supposed to be. I'm really glad we can't kill axolotls like that. Also, what you've done in here is fantastic. Like, I love this. Hi, Bookshelf. My name is Eli the Fry Guy. Nice to meet you. Hi, Bookshelf. My name is Eli the Fry Guy. Nice to meet you. Hi, Blast. It's a blast to meet you. Hi, Protection. Good to meet you. No name? No? Okay. Hi, Impaling. I'm gonna run now. Dude, I love the trading hall. You did so good on this, man. You have way more patience than me. I can only do it a few times. And I think my few times are up. But dude, you did a fantastic job with all of this. I love how you've managed to incorporate all of this into the world. You've done a lot better job than I have. All I did was dig a hole through a mountain. Weave plop. And I also love the fact that you actually like have taken care of all of this too. I don't know if you've seen, but I managed to wander around and put some sea lanterns in the ground, just trying to make this area a little bit more safe for people like Phantomkin, who gets blown up quite regularly. Now, I gotta ask, Baldy Beardy, did you see anything in regards to level 4? That was what I was doing right before I went over to creative mode. And I'm totally okay you taking them out for the lampposts, because lampposts look way better. Ooh, saw nothing for level 4. Okay. All right. Well then. So I know you have already seen portions, or like you've basically flown over the area, so I know you know kind of what this looks like for the most part. But some of what I was doing or like showing off was like we walk in here, and then as a player you're gonna have 3 different directions you can go. You can choose to go like basically left, right, and straight, and then one of them will split again. And they're going to take you to 3 different locations, one of which is going to take you into the level, one's going to take you to a temple, and the other one's going to give you a lookout. So these sections, I'm going to go back into creative just so you guys can see the crosshair. Yeah, I bet this does take a long time to walk around when you're lost. I'm so sorry. That's honestly going to be the fun part. So what I was talking about earlier was level 3 is very restrictive and it's linear and it tells you where to go. This one's meant to not be as restrictive. It's meant to be much more open. This is going to be some cliffs basically, as well as the area here in the back and around this side. So a lot of this area here is going to be cliffs that are going to go up and basically meet with the ceiling. One of those crystals from the creative test world is going to go here. And basically between the trees and the crystal, this area is going to be like a barren biome. I'm going to do my own custom kind of looking biome, though in all reality, it's probably going to look fairly simple or fairly similar to the mesa biome. So some terracotta and red sand and stuff, just things like to make it look devoid of life. And then literally on the other side here, this is going to be a lush area. So no trees other than that one and no crystal. This area is going to be very lush. And then coming over here, this is going to be a wetland. And these areas here are going to be full of water. And you're going to see some like waterfalls and stuff. Some fairly simple ones, nothing too crazy. And they're going to be like big drip leaves, and like the stems are going to go up, and there's going to be some flowers and some fairies and stuff. And then I'm going to put in kind of like a deserted village. I mean, it's already deserted because those villagers are dead. But I'm going to have some like inner workings of the cliffs. And then I've got some stuff that's going to go back behind all of that. And that's going to be fairly interesting. That was kind of fun to get down and under all of this to make sure that there was something, like there wasn't a way that you could exit the level on accident and then not be able to find your way back in. And then some of this area over here is going to be the quote-unquote overgrown area. So if you think about mushrooms, they're like a one block wide stem that goes up and then, decently big from there. These are going to be like 3 times as big. So these are going to be like the comically big ones. So that's currently the idea. And then you saw the crystal area that was in the creative test world. That's going to go up above. And then I've got some testing stuff that I had been doing. It's really hard to make beacons work the way that you want to. Like, I was trying to make it so that, like, you walk into the area and then pistons retract and allow beacon beams to go through. But kind of like how you see, I don't know, like certain buildings, like you flip a switch and it's like the first light turns on, then the second and the third and the fourth, but it, just like goes little by little, kind of like a stair-stepping design. And I was trying to work something out in creative, but trying to get the timings and make sure that those beacons lit up at the right time, surprisingly difficult, because like you can open them all at once and they don't all go off at once. You can set it to have the timings be like, okay, well, it's going to be like in 2 seconds, the first set, 4 seconds, the second set, and so on. And I would have the third set turn on before the first set. And I was like, this is so confusing to me. But I'll figure that part out later. But yeah, I'm really excited about this one. I just know that this is going to take forever, and I had to make the decision to basically not do a whole lot of this in survival anymore, because this one is going to be insanely big and detailed, and there's just absolutely no way I can do this any other way than in creative. I could do skulk sensors with the calibrated ones. That could work. I would have to like play with the testing on the timing of that one, because I haven't used those before. The only other time I tried to use them as redstone components, it didn't work in the way that I wanted it to. Because I still don't know how to use them. But yeah, so I'm trying to figure that piece out and whatnot. But yeah, this one's gonna be a lot of fun. I still have a lot to do. I just haven't really been on the realm like for a month and a half. I started working on the novel for basically what this game is like, and the player in the novel is most of the way through level 3, and I got like 20,000 words in, and then my dad came to town, and I was like, okay, well, I can't really keep this up. I hit writer's block and just kind of stopped. So I kind of had to call it quits for then, but I think I'm going to end up like writing more as I create more. But yeah, I really can't wait for you guys to also be able to explore this, because this is cool to look at it from this point of view. But when you are all the way down at this point of view. This is going to be something else. Like, I really can't wait for you guys to just be able to, come walking through, and then boom, here's a lush area, and be like, wow, that's cool. And then like you start to see one of the trees going up around the edge, and then you get to actually see it, and you come through here and you're like, whoa, what is this? And there's 3 more trees. And then you start seeing like stuff over here and then up in there. Like, some of this stuff to me, like, I'm so excited, but it's just, I have to be patient. And for me, I have it all in my head, but I can't get it down just yet. So in due time, I will get back on this for you guys and have this going, because I'm absolutely excited for you guys to play it. But I'm glad I'm not the only one who doesn't really know how to use the skulk sensors. That actually makes me feel a little bit better. But yeah, so that's pretty much where we're at. I think when I do my next stream, which should be next week on Thursday. So I'm going to be trying to stream on Thursdays, probably around noon or 1 o'clock Pacific time. Because you guys don't know this yet, but Sam just started daycare earlier this week. And Megan's job basically said, hey, we need you more hours. And she said, cool, well, I need more money in order to do that, because we have to put Sam in daycare in order to make that work. And so they were able to give her a couple extra dollars more an hour, and now she works 4 days a week. And we couldn't really figure out an actual good system for getting Sam in daycare based upon what we had, other than doing 2 days a week. And so Tuesdays and Thursdays he's in daycare. So I'm working on Tuesdays, but I'm off on Thursdays, and I actually get a chance to stream. And it's almost time for me to go get him. And then once I leave, I'm going to go grab some groceries, and I'm going to get Sam and make some dinner. But yeah, so that's kind of where I sit with the realm itself. I'll actually start doing stuff again next week. And then I just got to figure out, I really got to figure out how I want to load some of this stuff in. And actually what I want to do real quick before I head out, while the stuff loads, I almost never know where I'm at. Let's see. It's down here. I don't think I took this out yet. I was doing the testing for the beacons down here. Let's see. Whoa, I did take it out. Dang. I was hoping I hadn't actually taken that out yet. But it was such a colossal flop for me that like I had to take it out. Oh, so check this out. Okay, let's go creative. Do I still have? No. So one of the things that I was doing, it's because there's a space there. One of the things that I've been working on is like trying to make entrances to certain levels. I forget exactly what level I was trying to do with this. Okay, this is such a pain in the butt. Okay, so trying to get the player to actually pop out the right direction is total pain. But one of the things I wanted to do, similar to what I did for level 3, was make a player pop right into here, into like this water stream. And wow, that was loud. Okay, I'm just gonna hurry this up and then have them fall in. I forget where exactly I was wanting to do that for. Trying to remember, because this is a 2x2 for a very specific reason. Well, I don't know if I'm going to remember this one, but I basically was trying to figure out different ways. I am so sorry about the water. Well, you made a bug report about coming out of the minecart. But yeah, I was trying to like figure out a way to pop you out and have you come falling down from some water. Oh, I remember now. For you guys playing, it's the same way. Oh, the water being loud. Okay. I gotcha. Interesting. That, like, it wasn't super loud to me. I just had a feeling that it was going to be super loud to you guys. So that sucks. I usually have my volume down super low when I play, so I didn't even notice it. Okay, so I remember what I was trying to do with the water piece. So this is me trying to be extra. The 11th level, I wanted to, do this thing where basically I send you up in a minecart all the way to build limit, and you were going to be carted across, and basically you'd arrive at level 11. So you're way up in the sky. You've arrived, and I'm going to spare you and not actually jump into the water. But like you would arrive, boop, you would hit that point, you'd drop into the water. And then I was literally trying to find ways, like, can I put you in a boat? Can I put you in another minecart? What can I do to control the player's entry into level 11? And sadly, this was basically the best that I could come up with, was like, some little bit of a waterfall. I was hoping to like put the player into some water and have them like slowly sink or something, but you can't see through said water at that point. I was hoping to do like a boat, on lava or whatever, but nothing was working out. And so I had to scrap the idea. But what I wanted was, hi, welcome to level 11, and then have the player just like be way the heck up in the sky. And then slowly start descending and being able to see it from like a distance and then walk up to it. But that was just me trying to be extra, and yeah, I'm not gonna do that. I didn't like how that was turning out. I'm really kind of sad I took out that. Normally I don't erase my garbage redstone, but apparently I did. So I guess let's see. Nobody needs all this stuff. I'll keep the barrier. Okay. So let's take a look. Let's grab the beacons. And then let's grab us some redstone. Okay. You know what? I have an idea. Okay. Yeah, so basically what I was... Oh, I need some sticky pistons. This doesn't work without sticky pistons. All right, so now we've got a beacon that works. And then grab yourself that sticky piston. And then, of course, I threw out the lever. Okay, so that will shut the beacon off. But if we'll see if it'll do it. So there's a little bit of a delay right there in that turning back on. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, so now so watching the timings on these is kind of a pain in the butt. If you noticed, first, second, stuff like that does not make sense to me. It drives me up a wall. And then as you saw, the one on the left turned off immediately, and that one took forever. So with that in mind, like, let's see, is that lined up? Okay. So that one kind of did it. Yeah, so this one right here, like, they are fairly close together. When I was originally testing this, I think the next beacon was probably all the way back here. Let's see. Okay. All right, so now we've got 3 beacons. Now, that one actually did manage to go pretty much like well after the others. I love how this is now gonna okay. This is obnoxious to me because this is definitely not how this originally went for me. Oh, whoops. I do think I tried to make this a bit more complicated when I was originally doing this. Wait. One second. All right. Okay, so third, fourth, first, second. Now, that's with a 4-tick delay, 4-tick delay, 4-tick delay, but none on the first. So now third started, fourth started, first and second. That's with distance and time. So this is all literally and like you can't get anything to trigger based on a beacon beam, believe it or not. So like if I were to try to take an observer, you know, and say, hey, you know, give me some kind of output or whatever, like when you notice the beacon beam. Nothing. Yep. So, unfortunately, one of my ideas was basically to read the beam. I wanted to read the beam and be like, okay, the beam is on or the beam is off. Boom. Like, give me a signal. No such luck. It literally won't do it. And so what I was hoping for, so literally at the rate that those pistons were going is how I want the lights to appear. And sometimes what they'll do is like I'll get 2 and 4 to go on at the same time, then 1 and 3 at separate times. I don't having the observer read the piston instead of the beam. So we could do that, but then so the point of the observer would be to read beacon on, send the signal to allow the next beam to go up. The thing is if it reads the piston instead. Let's see. So if we read the piston instead, we get redstone. Kill the line there. So at that point, the issue is that got a double. Okay, so that actually kills the redstone line. So one of the things that I want the line to stay on. So I would then have to do a T flip-flop, I believe is what that's called. Where do I have one of those? Oh, I know I've got a T flip-flop here somewhere. No, that's the automatic item dispenser. I know I've got a T flip-flop. Do I really not have one? No, I know I've built one. Because I had to have stuff be on. So basically the T flip-flop, just when you press, it was for button presses. So you press a button, we know it goes on and then off, but it allows the one press to turn it on and then remain on, and then one more press off to remain off. I think it's over. Good Lord, what did I build? Well, hello, Professor K. Yes, definitely still alive, sadly. I have to go pick up Sam here shortly. Gotta go snag him from daycare. Where on earth did I put my stinking T flip-flop? Oh, this drives me nuts that I can't seem to find it. Oh yeah, so that was me attempting to deal with like skulk sensors. Didn't work. Oh my gosh, is it already the end of term? Professor K. I'm so sorry, but I'm so happy for you at the same time. Yeah, okay, I'll have to go rebuild some more T flip-flops and put them over here. Because that would allow that to work a little bit, but yeah, it would ultimately be kind of the same issue, sadly. So as much as I wanted that one to work, I'm gonna have to get like real creative on it. Like one of the things that I was thinking of doing was just like, forget there being a redstone line and just do something obnoxious like that. So it's like, okay, let's go ahead and kill that. It clearly, number 4 still has its mind of its own. Honestly, Professor K, no worries. So I will be able to stream each Thursday at this point. I don't know if I will stream every Thursday, but with Sam in daycare, on Thursdays on my days off, I will have time. If I'm not doing other things, I will at least be able to. But at the very worst, I will get this up into YouTube later this evening, so we don't have to worry about that too much. But yeah, so like this is honestly the only real like solution that I could come up with, but I really, really desperately did not want to add 5 repeaters. But that's fine. I'll figure it out. So just don't from 10:30 to 12:20. Okay. Well, cool. Honestly, noon was about the time I was contemplating doing some of my streams. So anywhere from noon to 1 would be about the typical start time. So I think that actually can work out pretty well. All right. That's going to have to do it because it is, almost 4:20. I have to go pick up some stuff at the store before I grab Sam. But thankfully, they're right down the street from each other. But yeah, guys, thanks for coming in to watch. Professor K, definitely check out the VOD on this one a little later because you'll get to see some of those builds in the background plus some of this stuff and then some of the plans for the level. Oh yeah, and this right here is kind of like where the idea is that I'm going. This is an ugly crystal, but basically it's supposed to be crystals with stuff like beacon beams coming through it. So that's what I'm hoping to do. But yeah, thanks for showing up, guys. Really appreciate you. Professor K, don't worry about not being on the server. I've been gone for like a month and a half and hardly shown up. But I think I'm ready to get back and start cranking on level 4. And yeah. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you being here. Hopefully I didn't just break something back there. But I appreciate you being here and can't wait to hang out with you guys. I will probably send out some messages later and give you guys a little bit more of a heads up about a stream. So, all right, guys. I love y'all. I'll catch ya. Oh, good. I'm glad Lucy's been on. All right. Thanks so much, guys. I appreciate you. I'll catch you again soon.